Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto, Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the entire United States. Good morning to the world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as the ARPANET, created by whom again? We the people, created by whom again? You, the people of the world. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great program for you today. A lot to cover. But before we get started, we go to the los geniuses, the geniuses in the studio in Houston, Texas. Buenos dias, mis hermanos. How is Howard Reynolds and Jack Van Bever doing this morning?
Well, once again, you didn't give Jack his due. He gets top billing, man. He makes life easier.
I give both of you. It makes my life easy. I give both of you top billing. You know the kind of guy I am, man. Anyway, how you guys doing this morning?
We're okay. It's Friday morning at the radio, the 2nd of May, and we have been doing this now for 2 years, this show in this particular slot. It started May 1st, 2 years ago, and here we are. We're still here.
What? We're still here. How you doing, man?
Well, let's see. I'm thinking of a rant, but I don't really have it all together in my head just yet. It's about all these idiots, detractors about Kamala Harris's speeches, after the election. They're going, oh, well, this, that, and the other, and oh, she would have destroyed the entire America. That's laughable because that's what they're doing now.
Oh, boy.
Doing that.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't think Kamala Harris would be having 4 to 5 million people protesting her policies.
No, I don't think so. But you know what, man? Yeah. These guys live in an alternate state of reality, but we love them anyway. We love them anyway.
We do. Oh, okay. Well, Jack has a full page of wisdom here, so I think we probably should get to that.
All right, Jack, what's up? Good morning, my dear Jack. What's going on, buddy?
Okay, your post yesterday on the attack of the working class. Trump promised, as if you would actually believe in a promise from Trump, to fight for the working class, but something went haywire. The election of President Trump, and now he, Wonder Boy, and RFK Jr. are attacking the healthcare programs that keep working citizens healthy. If the industrial and corporate oligarchs don't want to pay their fair share to keep the working class healthy, then labor should not allow the oligarchs to use the worker's body as a source of profit for his or her labor and then undermine his or her health care by gutting social health programs and insurance companies like Medicare take advantage of you that are a scam designed to trick the public over to for-profit insurance. They shouldn't be allowed to use our labor if they're not going to pay their fair share to keep the labor going. Labor's important to them. It's what makes their profit. So if they're not going to take care of us, we shouldn't take care of them.
Well, it's a two-way street.
And if people would just realize that it's a two-way street, it's not about anyone getting over on anybody else. The problem is there's this stuff called a lot of times, a lot of the wealthy say we need to stop this stuff about having a class warfare, etc. I didn't invent the statement, but I don't remember who did. The people says there has always been a class warfare. The problem about it is our class is always losing, and that is so much the case, and one of the things about it is mind control. We have been so indoctrinated over our inception that, my God, we are our own worst enemies. Yesterday on the program at the 3 o'clock program, one of my MAGA folks called in, and he called in because he took exception that I said we are pretty much that the way our current economic system works, the vast majority of Americans are enslaved, and he didn't like that, so he called and he said, Egberto, let me tell you something. Remember, during slavery days, the slave had to do everything the master said, but now you have the choice. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, in some places you're right. We have the choice. But there are too many areas where we don't have the choice. If Howard breaks his leg tomorrow, does Howard really have the choice on how to fix it? Does he really get that choice? If they decide to put the price of wheat, not the farmer, because he'll never do that, but if the middleman decide to put the price of wheat extremely high, do you have a choice? No. I did a piece several years ago called Pricing Power. And that is the only people that have the power in this country are those who have pricing power. And that's not most of us. Pricing power dictates what your life is going to be. Pricing power dictates absolutely everything. I should play that video, but I can't think about where to find it right now on YouTube. I did that at the old KPFT building long time ago. But anyway, before I really get started, since we already have a caller, I'm going to go to the caller. And then I'm going to continue with what the program is supposed to be. So let's go without further ado to the one and only Tag. Come on in. Tag, how are you doing this morning, my brother?
Good, Egberto. How about you?
I'm doing fine. Talk to me, sir.
Well, I just wanted to say that I read about the UAE buying $2 billion worth of Trump cryptocurrency yesterday.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's a grift.
And Don Jr., what's that?
It's a grift. It's a legal way of bribing the president.
Right. And Don Jr. and Witkoff's son was involved with making that deal happen. So tell me there's not something illegal going on there. But in other news, yesterday GM announced that the tariffs were going to cost them $5 billion this year in 2025. And what's that going to do to the auto industry? With GM, I mean that's got to be devastating. But I'd come up with a new tagline, believe it or not.
Oh, you mean Tag has a new tag? Wait. Tag has a new tagline?
Yeah, you got it.
Wow. All right. Okay, Tag, give me your tag. Come on, Tag, give me your tag.
Don't blame me. I voted for Harris. every time there's bad news for Trump nowadays, I think people ought to just post it. Yeah, don't blame me. I voted for Harris. And if we see that enough online, people are going to start getting the idea, voting for Trump was a bad idea. So that's
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. Tag, I like your tag. Okay. Tag, I like your tag. But so you have a good one. I'm going to take Harry, folks. Then I want to get into some of what we need to talk about before I start taking calls again. So thank you, brothers. And hold up with the calls till after we talk about a few things. Let's go to Harry. Come on in, Harry. Real quick, my dear brother.
Yeah, well, I like Tag's new tagline. But anyway, what I was going to talk about was basically what you were talking about yesterday. And I was just reading again about the no-knock warrants for ICE, that if, what concerns me about this, and I talked to Howard about this yesterday when I was asking him about the Soul Ballet song after the show yesterday. What I'm concerned really about is when ICE can come onto your property, if these Trump ICE studs thinking, and you were, as you were mentioning, short-sightedness that these people have, if they have probable cause, but they have the wrong decision. They make the wrong decision, and they go after an American citizen to try to deport them, thinking that or even an undocumented person, knowing that these people, obviously with an undocumented person, they have to have their day in court. But what worries, and then I was looking up the Texas laws again. Obviously, since we are a concealed carry state or a open carry state, it could get ugly, and you could open fire them coming on your property, but the ICE do have no knock warrants, and it could be a serious catastrophic disaster if something like that were to happen.
You're absolutely, and the other thing that can happen is since we are, like you just said, open carry state, and since we have I forgot the name of the laws where you can protect your own property, etc. One of these guys that are breaking in can get hurt. But look, I need to jump to Bernard for an announcement, my brother, and I want to get some of the program in. So I'm going to let you go now. Let's talk later. You called in at 3 o'clock.
Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Jack.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Let's go. Bernard has an announcement. Bernard, how you doing, my brother? Talk to me.
Oh, good morning. I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. We had a great demonstration yesterday, and we had a great press conference for the march tomorrow. So I just wanted to let everyone know that at 10 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to be meeting at 5800 Belair, and that's at 10 a.m. And we've got quite a few organizations. We have the AFL-CIO, we have Alancia Latina International, Crescent, we have 5051, we have People Before Profits, Brown Berets, and many, many other organizations. And we're trying to do a very large march against Trump's policies on immigration. I'd like to remind everyone that what he's trying to do is to get rid of about 11 to 13 million people. It would be the largest ethnic cleansing in world history in reality when you think about it. And we have to stop him. And it's not just the immigrants, but all of us that he's going after. He just wants to get rid of them first. And by then, people will be too scared to even fight. And people will hide. So come out and let's fight. Let's defeat them. Let's show that people are still defiant. Let's support the judges that are now being arrested. And let's stop this. Remember, what you would have done in Germany in 1932, you're doing it today.
Excellent, Bernard. Give us the time, place again, one more time.
Yes, it's at 10 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, Saturday. And we're going to meet at 5800 Belair Boulevard, and we're going to march down to Burnett Balin Park on Chimney Rock. And we really need everyone to go there. We want to show the powers that be, including the mayor, that we're not afraid. And we're against what he's doing with the police, all of that.
Bernard, thank you for the great work you're doing. Thank you for making that announcement on Politics Done Right. And folks, we can only keep a democracy if we make sure to do the work necessary to keep our democracy. Thank you so kindly, Bernard. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, let's go ahead and say hello to Joanne from Los Angeles, California, Lee the Bearcat from Austin, Texas, Jacqueline Campisi from Katy, Texas. On Substack, we have Ade, we have Thomas Manny, LBW, Elizabeth Heiss, Peter Hines, Edward Holmes, Deb, Liz Join, Gloria Maloney, Saunders, Gracie, Thomas Roberts, Lana Foley. Those are the ones that haven't scrolled off yet. Thank you so kindly for being here. Anyway, here's what I want to do. The first thing I want to play is a piece on and I'm not going to play the whole thing because of the some time constraints here, but I want to play the piece on why. Well, let me just play it because it's explained in the piece itself. Let's get busy. Did anybody see the cabinet meeting yesterday? The sycophancy. How each of these cabinet members were worshiping Donald Trump and praising Donald Trump like he was the supreme leader of Korea or one of these other dictators. I mean, it was ridiculous watching how they sat there and just, there's a piece that I'm going to play that piece at another time where MSNBC made a different clips of these guys just worshiping Donald Trump. But I mean, there's a piece that I'm going to play after this that's important, because what they point out is that the reason the sycophancy works in the boardroom, in the cabinet room, is because it has to. And why does it have to? Because, again, the whole right-wing media machine is so well oiled. Well, I tell you what, why don't you listen to this segment and then we'll take it on the other side.
That entire meeting, I don't know if I want to say it was un-American, but you cannot run a successful government, a successful company, a successful family if the way an organization runs is that you have to show ultimate praise and worship of the leader. Like, you can't run that. Like, that is how dictatorships operate.
You know, I used to have a saying, right? You're really in trouble if you're lying to yourself and believing it. This is a group of people you got to ask that question about. They're in such a collective state of not just puffery of Trump, but it's almost like a group think, like if we just say it over and over again, maybe it'll be true. And, watching the kind of cast that Trump has assembled, what are they there for? They're there because he sees selling the American people as the highest form, not smart, qualified governance, right? He's got TV personalities there, salesmen like Howard Lutnick there, and they're there to puff up Trump, and they're there to puff up whatever version of reality he's selling to the American people on any given day. It's pretty amazing stuff to hear. But remember, what they're playing to is the audience of one. They don't really care that you didn't like their cabinet meeting. They're happy if Donald Trump is happy.
Look, I mean, there's an entire ecosystem, right, that runs 24/7, 365 that will repeat all of what we just heard as fact, not as supposition, not
this
as
is so important,
right? Like, all right, we always talk about Fox News. Fox is the tip of the iceberg.
This is a great point.
Is dozens and dozens of podcasts and video shows, and all of it gets chopped up and clipped up and sent around TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and everything else. This is the one thing that I think our friends on the left don't understand. Like, they communicate to voters 8 weeks out of every 2 years. The right, MAGA, never stops. It is a freight train that goes, and when it needs more money or it needs more effort or it needs more Trump, they give it to it. It never, ever stops. So his people are hearing what they want what he wants them to hear all the time. There's no break. And when reality does set in, now you have this massive psychological problem for them. Am I going to believe him, what he's always been telling me, or am I going to believe what my eyes are showing me? And that's a very difficult thing. And most of them are going to believe him, because to believe your own eyes is to understand, to admit to yourself that you've been lied to all these years.
And I want you guys to understand what that last little subsegment there. You hear me and try to address our brothers and sisters on the right, the MAGA folks, etc. But there are two things that he said there that folks on the left, people that are cognizant, have to realize. One is, whereas, Democrats and others, they embrace folks for the 8 weeks of the campaigns that go on, and then they move on. These people have a constancy. Every story that comes out, every lie that comes out gets amplified on social media, gets amplified on their network channels, Fox News, AON, Newsmax. And these lies get propagated to all these people continuously. So do you really hate the people who are so misinformed and who suffer from that psychological problem that most of us have, that we just can't believe that we've been so wrong for so long? So we hide behind our willful ignorance. We hide behind our willful ignorance. And that's pretty much what he's trying to say there. The problem is the way we have been programmed. And then the solution, part of the solution, for those of you that are listening here to Politics Done Right and other programs that try to de-analyze, if you will, the lies of the right and try to give some sort of a fact-based information with evidence that everybody can believe. There are not enough doing this. There are not enough of folks that saying, I am going to remain in the fight no matter what. I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback. I know folks are going to call me out, call me names or whatever, but I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm going to throw those TikToks out. I'm going to throw, because, you know, a lot, let me just tell you, a lot of liberals, a lot of elitists, when they hear about TikTok or Instagram or doing all these things on TikTok and Instagram, they think it's beneath them, right? They think it's beneath them to engage with people on Telegram, TikTok, and all these other avenues, while the masses are out there on all these other channels doing things, right? We have to go where the people are, where they're listening, wherever it is. When people talk about some folks being elitist, you know what? They're right. I have look, let me tell you something, guys. When we do these programs, or when I do clips, or when I research stuff or whatever, I make sure this stuff gets everywhere. You know, I get it on TikTok. I get it on Instagram. I get it on Telegram. I get it on Threads. I get it on Facebook Live, YouTube. Put it everywhere, trying to promote that message in the form of in the terms of what the right wing media says. We flood the zone. You see what that brother just said on that clip that I played? As soon as a message comes out that they want to put out there, they flood the zone. It's everywhere. That's why, let me tell you, on my 3 o'clock show and sometimes here on the show here, we get a lot of MAGA chatters, MAGA callers, MAGA folks in our environment. In fact, my mailing list also have a whole bunch of MAGA on it. Okay. And the interesting thing about it is, whenever we send a message out, it doesn't matter if the MAGA person lives in New York, in Georgia, in Atlanta, or rather in California, in Seattle. It doesn't matter where they live. On that particular day, all of them are saying the same thing. And they come with the same message. A couple days ago, the message was about the Attorney General in New York. They put out a false message about mortgage fraud, and every single part of this country, they were talking about Letitia James and mortgage fraud all over the country. That was the message of the day in the right-wing media machine. And if you looked on the right-wing TikTok, right-wing Instagram, right-wing Facebook, everything, right-wing media, Breitbart, all of them, the message was Letitia James. So they had that concentrated message, and all the sycophants on my chat started talking about Letitia James. There is this is a psychological warfare. That's why our MAGA brothers and sisters are so messed up. Because if you get into that zone and you exist into that zone, that's what you think. And it's the hardest thing. That Kamala Harris got almost as many votes as Trump when they didn't do near that type of engagement that the Trump people did. The Trump people were in chat rooms, IRP, they were in IRTs, they were in all these areas, all these nooks and crannies. They were in these bro networks with disregarded kids. I mean, they were all over the place with these messages. And we wonder, how is it there are a group of people that think in an alternate state of reality? It's because, I say this with humility, it's our fault. And it's our fault because if we engage with somebody and they don't like it, we call them stupid and go, we're not getting to you. We don't do, these other guys, they'll keep engaging. And we have to learn to do the same. we have to learn to do the same. I have another video on tariffs. I'm not going to play it quite yet because, I want to do a piece on UPS, so that will be able to be found later. Let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Good morning, Egberto. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
First, I appreciate the caller that was worried about my possum having rabies. I was aware of that and stayed away, but I appreciate his concern. I realize sometimes when I call in, it's like Forrest Gump calling in to talk about Einstein's equations, but you let me on anyway. Here's today's rant. If you take the word Trump tariffs and you scramble the letters, using all the letters only once, you can come up with if Trump farts. Now, if Trump farts, his cabinet gives him a standing ovation and says, "Thanks, we needed a breath of fresh air." What they need to do is recognize that if it sounds like a fart and it smells like a fart, it might just be hot air. I'm done.
Oh, Bruce, you scare me, Bruce. You scare me, Bruce. But thank you, my brother. You have a wonderful rest of your day. That was a good laugh. Thank you, brother. All right, let's see. Let's go to Bart. Come on in, Bart.
Good morning, sir. Yes, I'm glad you brought up Letitia James. Have they arrested her yet?
Okay, folks, you see, this Brother Bart is a classic example. He is in the zone. He gets his information from one place. He has no way of corroborating it, but he believes it. Continue, my brother.
Okay. So you can cut me off. You can censor me. You can hang up on me. But as Aunt Esther used to say, the truth shall set you free. So
very true. Very true. Actually, that is so true. But the thing about it is, you don't need, look, something, you've come on this show before and you've spoken about your daughter going to A&M. You've spoken about the type of dad that you are, etc. So I have a daughter. And by the way, today is my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Ashley. My beautiful daughter's birthday. But anyway, you have a daughter. I know you love your daughter, all that good stuff. So, people ask me, why do I tolerate guys like you calling into the show? Because, Bard, you're always wrong, right? But deep inside, I know. Wait, I'm not done. I made you speak. Let me finish speaking. All right? Stop it. All right. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. The problem is I don't know what in your rear end. And, I hope all the time. So I like to think what in your rear end gives you that channel, that tunnel that you prevent yourself from opening the horizon. What is it in your psyche that does that, brother? What is it?
Well, happy birthday to your daughter. I call in because your show is basically a show of misinformation and disinformation, and I'm here to try to get the truth out on the air.
All right. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. No, I cut you off when you just come out and outright lie. I cut you off when you outright lie. But let me just ask you this, because I don't want to use the public's airwaves. It's not my airwaves. It's not yours. It belongs to all Americans. And we have too long allowed it to be used to misinform people, just like you've been misinformed for quite a while. My question to you again is, every time you call me out for ill informing, you have never been able to categorically prove something that you've said. Not once.
That's not true. I called you Monday and I told you about the airplane crash.
And you were wrong.
January.
And you were wrong.
Covered up by the media because the pilot that killed everybody was a woman, a DEI.
You were again there. Look again, a DEI. That's no, sir. DEI hire. If she was a DEI hire, that would have been a good thing because it would have meant she is meritorious, she's excellent, and she's intelligent. That's what a DEI hire is. And you choose. No. I'm gonna entertain you for 30 seconds more to tell you this. For 30 seconds more to tell you this.
That's no reason.
Hey, Let me tell you, be quiet till I get the answers. Here's the deal. DEI folks, you notice how Bart tries to define DEI. Let me define it the way it was really designed. In the past, the only people that got the opportunity to fly, the only people to get the opportunity to do a lot of things, mostly were white men. Those were the only people that were even considered. And what that means is if white men makes up 13 to 14% of the population, you are getting your pool, you're looking for your pool of intelligence out of a small number of people. What DEI enforced is that you had to expand your horizon because there is excellence in every demographic. And if you open yourself to find excellence in every demographic, you won't be limited to mediocrity in one. I'm not done, sir. Sir, Bard, be quiet. Be quiet. Now, the only way that you can get full excellence is if you open it up to everybody where you find excellence, which means you don't limit your pool. That is what DEI does. That is what it has always done. Now, let me be fair now. Can there be misuse of DEI? Yes. Just like there was misuse when there wasn't DEI. After all, Hegseth became our defense secretary, somebody that is completely and entirely incompetent, dumb, a woman beater, and a drunk. So yes, you can actually have actually have mistakes. But what Bart just said was completely wrong. And when he uses that as an example to finding that I'm giving misinformation, that should be your barometer right there. That in fact, what DEI is not what he is saying. Thank you, Bart. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Point. All right, take care, buddy. Exactly my point. All right, let's go to Patrick. Come on in, Patrick.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, brother. Talk to me.
A surgical analysis of what was said yesterday and today by Bard is that a lesbian female cannot pilot a helicopter without running it into another object. Or he's saying because she's a lesbian and because she's a she, that's what caused that accident. That's exactly what that man is saying.
Yeah, I mean, again, and the reason I brought up his daughter, right, is that you would think that somebody who has a daughter, a love for a daughter, wouldn't have such a disregard for women. And I was hoping that he would draw the analogy. Continue, my brother.
I didn't want to talk about that. It's just that that's just how that conversation went down. What I called in for was the waste, fraud, and abuse that these guys are so happy that everybody's finding. The largest increase in spending was for the Pentagon, correct?
Yes, $150 billion. That which they said was saved by Doge, which is a lie, but yes.
And then the only part of our government that cannot pass an audit is the Pentagon. So
exactly.
We gave the least transparent organization the largest increase while we took money away from the poor and our aging parents.
And you know what is worse about that, Patrick? Let me tell you what's the worst part about that. In one sentence, you gave that complete answer. We are unable to monitor the federal government, the Defense Department. They get more money. All the men who monitor the other departments prove their success in that Doge could not find waste and fraud and abuse. All they did was cut programs that were very, very necessary.
Analysts say that analysts said that they found somewhere between 5 and 10 billion with a goal of $1 trillion. If we do the math, and we divide that money up, and it won't be divided up amongst us, but if we divide it up amongst all the citizens in the United States that work, we save each of us 60 cents a day. And this is what we're doing to ourselves. 60 cents a day.
That is not taking one thing into account. You may save 60 cents a day, but what did it cost to save 60 cents a day? Continue.
Oh, exactly. But I wanted to talk about the biggest winner. We just, I believe, approved the Golden Dome, which is a anti-ballistic missile system, I believe.
Right. Yes.
So I want to talk about the fraud with that. ICBM travels at its peak, travels at Mach 25, which is over 20,000 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
And we call it a ballistic missile because that's exactly what it is. It's fired, and then after it hits its speed, physics does the rest. Gravity and everything else does the rest. And so you can't really even track it. And so we're going to say that we're going to send an object after an object going 25,000 miles per hour, and we're going to be able to hit it. And we're going to do this over and over and over and over.
Well, you're right. It's a fraud. I mean, it's a fraud in that first of all, the technology doesn't exist at this time to do it. What's going to happen is universities are going to continue to do that kind of research, but to put it into private companies right now makes absolutely no sense, because you're right in the numbers that you just gave.
It was awarded to Musk, and it's going to cost $1 trillion.
Right, exactly. And it won't work. I mean, it has the same outcome that it has with Musk telling for the last 15 years. Musk says next year we'll have a self-driving car. Next year we'll have you've been saying that for 15 years, right? So that's where we're right.
But that's the fraud, and that's the fraud that increased under Trump, and suffering increased and fraud increased, and that's all we have to say.
Thank you, my brother. You have a great rest of your day, and I'll check you out at 3:00. Okay.
Have a great weekend.
You too, my friend. All right. Uju M says, Egberto, something is happening with Substack. Let's see, Substack, with your Substack live feed. It keeps freezing. At first, I thought it was my end, but it restarted my phone and checked other line feeds. They were all working just fine. I'm not sure what that is. Is anybody else having a Substack problem? Let me know. John A says Musk is the biggest suck on our government funds. Exactly. He's the one that makes the most. Let's welcome to Glenn Ryan and Eric Hayes that were added to the chat. Let's go to Augie. Come on in, Augie.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, Trump in his first administration said he admired how the communist leaders, when they walk in, everybody stands up and claps. And now Trump is getting that from the sycophants that he put in office. And like you said about Letitia James, yesterday on Facebook, I saw something about how what Trump said this guy was MS-13, and he couldn't figure out that it was Photoshop. There was a Facebook posting how Trump and these other department heads said he was MS-13, but the Democrats say he wasn't. And trying to say that this guy was. So, I have to reply to that, said the Democrats are right and all these other guys wrong. And why are you saying that? But, yeah, they keep putting out these lies all over, and that's what everybody's got to be aware of, like you said.
But, a lot of it also, Augie, is willful ignorance. Like Bart calls in here, right? Bart is not a dumb person. I mean, the guy is not a dumb person, but because of his prejudices, he needs to have an excuse to say the things that he says. And that excuse is what others give him. That is what the right-wing media gives him, the excuse to be able to not say, I am prejudice for X, Y, and Z, because look, the evidence for me is what Fox News is saying, or the evidence for me is what I am seeing on social media. They have a backstop for their willful ignorance, and at the same time, they can keep their prejudices because they have that backstop. And that is what we got to bust. And it's the hardest thing to do because, again, when you were reared with an indoctrinative manner as we were, it is so hard to get around. Anyway, Augie, I got some more calls. Anything else you want to say real quick to close her up? I want to talk about UPS before we end, though.
Yeah,
okay.
I like this guy they call Lester, and he gives Trump an A for what he did. And but it shows you how bad that is. But he hasn't done much for the blacks either. But anyway, thanks for all.
Well, wait. Let me just say this. Let me say this. Trump has not done much for anyone but the wealthy, and that is the thing about it. And the reason I want to get that inculcated in people's minds. All of this stuff is quantifiable. We can actually show where just the tariffs alone shows you how they use the back door to screw everybody else for the benefit of the few. But the problem about it is how it's done. There are ways to hide stealing from you. And that's what Trump has been successful in doing. Thank you very much, Augie. Let's go to Brian real quick. Brian, come on in.
Yeah, you ever heard of success envy? You ever heard that term before?
Yeah, I've heard the term before.
Yeah, well, I think you've got it pretty bad because almost every conversation you talk about ends up how bad Elon Musk is. And,
well, let me qualify it. I want to answer that because this is important. My answer to that is very important. Success envy doesn't define what I do. First of all, you believe that I envy Musk's success. I don't. I am an engineer. I've had a successful company. I gave it up to make a hell of a lot less by doing this. Okay, by doing activism. And why was it? Because I never believed my success was my success. And let me explain what I mean. My success is the success of the taxpayers who educated me from having a university that costs less than I paid, the University of Texas. My success is having a society that is actually subsidizing all that makes me successful. You see, what you don't understand and what I'm trying to put in your head is that success, that the success that the few claim is really all our successes, but the few get to take advantage of all of our successes. That is the indoctrination that we have in this country. When you look at Elon Musk didn't create anything that he's running. Elon Musk doesn't know how to write a line of code successfully, but that is what runs his electric car. Elon Musk does not know orbital mechanics, but that is what allows his spaceship to get where it goes to the space lab. Elon Musk does not know anything about von Neumann's or anything about Fermi's laws that governs, not Fermi's, I forget his name, governs the transmissions of his satellites and the Doppler effects in his satellites. He knows none of that. Yet that is what his companies use to make money and make him rich. But the people in his company who are successful in having those technologies work,
Can I get a word in?
No.
Can I talk?
No.
Oh, thank you.
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, here is the thing. Here is the thing. You know, the reason I'm not giving you a word in at this point is because your words completely miss what is actually happening when you come and you define it as success envy. It's not success envy. It's calling out those who have presumed success that is based on a fraud. Now you can speak.
Okay, well, see, what I see mostly about the difference between you and I and my thinking is I'm a capitalist and you want everything for free. You let people that agree with you ramble on and talk about whatever you see as success, But someone who opposes your brainwashing, you cut them off and you don't let them speak. You need to work on your anger. I mean, this is a successful company for a country for a reason, because we're not brainwashed into thinking the government owes me a living. It's hard work and dedication to yourself.
Good. All right. Good. Now, let me just tell you that you lied. You claim that I want something for free, or I believe people should get something for free. Nobody in this country who works get anything for free. But what we have in a capitalist society is those who get their wealth off the back of others, that you cannot comprehend that. I can't help you there. That you fail, that your indoctrination is so deep that you can't see that Elon Musk's success is based on a piece of success of everybody that he works for, but not intrinsic to him. That you can't see that. That's a deficiency on your part, because that is actually a calculable reality that you refuse to see. When you look and you say, we are a successful country, who is successful in this country? We promote those who have success on TV, but our brothers and sisters in Appalachia are living downright bad lives. Our brothers and sisters in the ghettos and the barrios, these are good people that get up to work every day. They don't live a good life. So when you talk about how successful people are, you're not looking at all people. You're looking at the select few. All right, let's go to Lester. Come on in, Lester.
Oh, hey, thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Lester, come on in. Okay, I think we're going to get to Lester in a minute. There you go. Lester, you're on.
Hey, there we go. Hey, man, I seen a picture of you on Facebook, man. I finally got your name right. You know, I was saying you look like a young, you look like a young, slim and trim Al Roker. That's who you favor, man. A nice looking young man.
You know, I always get that Al Roker comment. Anyway, talk to me, brother.
Really? I didn't know that, man. You're like Al Roker. But say, man, I'm all right, and I know you all right. I wish these people would ask you how you doing and get to their point. But say, man, that last caller, I pretty much agreed with him, man. It's a popular show that come on every Sunday morning, Reverend Al. And at the end of his show, he always say, if you're looking for a leader, don't look at me. Look at the man in the mirror.
Amen.
And I agree with that. Ain't nobody go do nothing for you but the man in the mirror. But I'm going to end on this. I still believe in prayer. Instead of us always calling and condemning Trump, criticizing this great man. He's not perfect. He's that is not saying cast the first stone. I never hear none of your callers say pray for the man that he make better choice. That's all I got. I know. Have a great weekend, Al.
Thank you, bro. All right, thank you. I don't understand. Lester confuses me. Lester says, look at the man in the mirror. That is pretty much what I promote. Look at the person in the mirror, not look at Musk or not look at Trump. Lester, you confuse me. You said the right thing. Look at the person in the mirror. Then you call Trump a great man who's the one who's saying, I'm going to do something for you that doesn't. Anyway, let's go to Brother Johnny real quick. And man, I'm going to cut us off at 52 so that I can get to say something about the UPS. Come on in, Johnny.
Real quickly, Listerine, the only person I'm going to pray for is me, you, and Egberto, the people who are the victims of Donald Trump and his unfettered, underregulated, mercenary-style version of capitalism. As for Brian, you're the one with the anger issues. You're the one who told me and Egberto to go back to our country, whatever that means. I was born in New York, buddy. I was born in New York. Why don't you go back to China? You take your wife, your Chinese wife, and go to China. How about that? As far as free stuff, nothing is free, buddy. There's no such thing as a free lunch. We know that. That's why we advocate for an expanded and improved Medicare for all single-payer style, because it's not free. We're carrying the freight for the way we finance our infrastructure bills. We do it the way your party, your people, your tribe want to do it. And if you're not angry about that, then you're not paying attention, buddy boy. That's all.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Brother John. You have a good one. And let's go to Chris. Come on in, Chris. Let's see. Yeah, Chris. You're on, Chris.
Hey, man. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. So I'm literally calling in for just to send this out to Brian. Brian, I hear you every morning, man. And honestly, you're angry every morning. You get upset and you yell. The first thing you say is you attack and you accuse. You never listen, man. And it's just not right. How can you come on the show and say you want change and you support this, but you won't listen to the actual change? And Egberto, man, you just keep doing what you're doing. Jack, Howard, we love you. And everybody donate to KPFT when it comes time to support this local music station.
Thank you so kindly for that, Chris. You have a wonderful rest of your day, sir. Okay? All right, let's go to Uju. Come on in, Uju.
Yeah, hi. So 3 things. I know you're short on time. Number one, the orange baby actually has achieved something that he's been achieved his entire life. He's finally a billionaire because he's used public funds to extract and pillage, and now he can finally say he's a billionaire. So for so long, he's been claiming he's been a billionaire, and everybody has believed the con, but now I actually think he's a billionaire. So that's one. Two, the previous caller that was talking about DEI, I think that we waste too much energy trying to defend DEI. I just think that we should just start asking people, how actually has DEI impacted your life personally? So look at your life. Let's say you're 40 years old. Your entire life, how has DEI actually impacted you from living your best life? And I think it will probably stop a lot of people in their tracks because they're not going to be able to pinpoint one particular point in their life that they felt like they actually worked hard and someone else got the position that they didn't feel like would deserve it better than them. So that's 2. And then 3, that other person that called us saying that yours have success envy, same thing. How have all these successful billionaires actually impacted your life? Like, wake up in the morning and literally think about how you go to work, how you spend money, how you buy gas, how you provide food for your family. How have their successes actually benefited you on a personal level? I think that's what we need to start telling people. Like, it's great to have successful people, and there's nothing wrong with that. And capitalism, this, capitalism, socialism, that. But I need everyone to start really, really asking these questions. Elon Musk, how has his success actually helped me personally, to put food on the table, me personally, to live my best life, me personally, to go on 2 or 3 modest vacations and really, really be free? How has his success really helped me personally? And I guarantee you a lot of people will not be able to answer that question. Anyway, have a great weekend. I really encourage everybody to really do the exercise, close your eyes, figure out what the American dream means for you, and let's start working on solutions. Because the problem is we're trying to sit here and argue with people who are never going to change. We have to start providing a vision of what the ideals of America is and the solution to get there, okay? So that might mean, hey, listen, doing more in your community, volunteering more, mentoring people, taking one person out of the community and showing them a new habit, not a new habit, a new skill. I think we just have to stop arguing with people who are never going to change. Anyway, everyone have a great weekend, and that's all I got.
Don't leave yet, Uju. Let me just tell you, the last time you spoke, I got a great clip out of it that people simply loved on the 3 o'clock show and otherwise. And here we go again. I think you have a way of using words to really inform. And so thank you for that. And to add to that, as far as ask yourself what these functions have done in your life, I think that is a very smart move, because what people are going to see is that they're getting excited, roughed up for items that really they have no control over, number one. And number two, for the parts that they have control over, they have allowed others to use them. When I talk about our economic system, a lot of these that we like to claim our success is being built on the successful, meaning being built on what you've done, Uju, what Bard has done. Their success has been built on that. Maybe if we can deprogram them, they'll finally be able to find that out. Uju, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you so kindly.
Exactly. Like, for example, how has Elon Musk Starlink actually helped you get to work safely and faster today. Everyone really needs to think about that. Him being successful, how has that helped you wake up in the morning, pay your bills, get to work on time, have a great day, and get home and be with your family? If you cannot tangibly answer that without deviating into distractions, then the answer is he's done nothing for you. He has literally done nothing for you but cause you anxiety, and you're angry all the time and you're arguing all the time. Anyway,
while he has taken billions of our hard-earned tax dollars. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Everybody, really quickly, everybody keeps on saying we want things for free. People, we pay taxes and we get nothing for it.
Thank you, so kind.
Get everything. All right, bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Uju. All right. I missed, look, folks, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. I have all the stories. Please read the story on UPS. But the tagline for the UPS story is this. A lot of companies are going to use the tariffs are terrible and bad. A lot of companies are going to use the tariff argument to lay off people. While what a lot of the argument is that they've done a lot of stock buybacks and all of this for the real reason why they have to lay off employees. I didn't get into the story fully. Please read the article at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Let me throw it to the studio.
Oh, nothing here. There was a kernel of truth in what Brian had to say, but I don't remember what it was. Jack, what you got?
Trump just signed an order to stop funding NPR and PBS.
Well, I don't think he can really do that. That has to be done in law, but let's see if they follow it. Anyway, folks, thank you so kindly for listening. Love you all. Remember, you can write me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com, kpft@politicsdoneright.com. See all the program at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.